Hey guys, it's Randy here at Milo Domestic Church. Oh my gosh, like so much happened yesterday. So I took this video yesterday morning. So I'm gonna show it to you here. Okay, so y'all, I have been having some contractions pretty consistently all through today. They're kind of lingering. One's starting right now. Okay, so they're getting stronger, but they don't hurt super bad. They're just kind of uncomfortable. So anyway, so I called my midwife and she was like, why don't you come in and we'll just check you out, since it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. I am 38 weeks and like 5 days, so this is very early. That's why I didn't want to make a fuss, but you know, I've never had this happen before, so might as well go and get it checked out. So I'm heading there now. I'm just going to start taking little snippets of video here or there. So if this ends up being the real thing, then I'll have some footage for you guys to make a video. So anyway, okay, talk to you guys soon. Okay, so let me just say also, it's a hot mess, y'all. It's a hot mess, but it's just gonna have to be okay. So that happened yesterday morning. All the night before, well, not all the night, but a lot of it, I was having these really weird contractions. They were just like, kind of like Braxton Hicks, just like that real tightening, but really more intense and in my back a little bit. And then I did all the stuff you do, you know, you have a snack, drink some water, take a shower. They went away, so I fell asleep. That was all good. Woke up the next morning, which was yesterday, and just started having these kind of light contractions, but they were starting in my lower back. They would wrap around the front, go all the way to the top of my uterus, and then I'd have this shooting, not pain, but just something shoot up my spine. So they were kind of like spaced out, you know, every hour, 30 minutes, you know. And then all of a sudden around 11 o'clock, about an hour before my husband came home for lunch, they started getting pretty consistent every 10 minutes, every 6 minutes, every 5 minutes, but they still didn't like, they weren't like hurting, you know, like they weren't like, they were just intense and strong. So my husband came home for lunch. He was like, he knew I wasn't in labor the night before because he said he knew because I wasn't making the face I make when I'm in labor. At lunchtime, he was like, okay, whenever you have a contraction, you're making the face. You're like getting in that zone and it's starting to look like something's happening. So a couple, you know, the hour went by for his lunch and I was like, you know what, I think I'm fine. These don't hurt, they're just intense. And he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's fine, go back to work, just a couple hours. So he goes back to work. They pretty much sent him home right away because once he explained what was going on. And so when he came back home, they were getting just a little bit more stronger. And so we decided it'd be a good idea for me to go to see my midwife just in case. So I called her, she was great. She's like, come on in. That's the video you saw of me driving there and I was having those contractions on the way. So I get to the midwife's office and they do the check. They check my cervix, they check the heartbeat, and she's like a midwife, kind of doing her clinicals, like a training, I guess, one in training. And she was kind of like, okay, well, you know, I checked everything out and I'm just gonna go see if we can do an ultrasound just to check the baby's position. And I thought that was so odd because the baby's been head down for weeks, which is not normal for me. My babies are always in the breech position until 39 weeks, then they flip. But this baby's been in the head down position for weeks. So they came back in, they did the ultrasound, and lo and behold, baby has flipped. So now baby is in the breech position, and I'm 39 weeks today. So that's new. It's usually the opposite way. They're going head down at 39 weeks, and for some reason, she flipped. So, of course, if any of you have had a baby or if you know kind of how this goes, the first thing that's kind of brought up is C-section, one possibility. Also, they said I was a really good candidate for a version, which is basically where you externally turn the baby. They said I was a good candidate for a couple of reasons. One, they didn't say this, but I'm assuming because I haven't had a C-section, because I've had friends who've had C-sections and they say that they're not a candidate for it, so I'm not sure. They didn't say that. But the things they told me was because I have a lot of amniotic fluid, all that I always do, and my Water never breaks on its own. It always has to be broken like somewhere between 5 and 8 centimeters. And it's always a lot. Sorry guys, that's TMI. But anyway, so, and she said the third one was because I have had a lot of babies, so everything is very roomy. The only problem with that though is when you do a version, sometimes because there's so much in and out fluid and because there's so much room, they just flip back again. The odd thing is that I have found is that she has been head down for like 4 or 5 weeks. Sorry, I have not drank my coffee yet. I'm so like tired and exhausted. Anyway, so the fact that she has been head down lets me know and them know that she knows how to get head down. So we were kind of talking about the options and they were kind of wanting me to go get the version or a version. It's version, but there's other name for it. But anyway, like this morning. So like yesterday would be like tomorrow morning. We also talked about the possibility of doing the version and then breaking the water and starting a very mild amount of Pitocin. The reason was because they were worried that they'll do the version and then she'll flip. And then it's like, then at one point maybe it wouldn't work. But since I'm so close to being due, if they were to get her head down, break the water, get her engaged, and if I didn't start natural labor, just do a little bit of Pitocin to help my body along since it was already contracting, they felt that might be a good bet to help me to not have a C-section. So we kind of talked about different options. I left there feeling so anxious. I was like, oh, like before it was just like, oh, we're gonna have our baby. And now it's different than all of our other ones and these contractions are different and everything is just different. So as I was getting ready after the appointment, I called my chiropractor's office and I said, can I get in like today for him to do some work on me to help my baby flip? And they were like, come over now. So I went over there straight away. He did the adjustment. And when I got up, by the way, when I left my midwife's office, the contractions literally stopped. Like, I mean, I had a couple of them in there with them and they were getting concerned because they said the contractions were taking my breath away. They were getting stronger. As soon as I got this information and I started getting really anxious and stressed, I kid you not, it was like everything stopped. And that's the same thing that happened with my 5th baby. That's a whole other story. Anyway, so when I get to the chiropractor's office, all I'm having are these mild little like little kind of things, but nothing like I was having before. I get the adjustment, I get up off the table, and when I stood up, my whole belly felt like either she was rolling around or something was happening. I was like, whoa. So then I left there, my midwife and I kind of texted and we talked on the phone for a little bit. And, you know, we talked about, because I'd already spoken to my husband and we were kind of talking about the version and everything. And we decided to wait because Friday I'm gonna go back in and they're going to check my cervix and they're gonna do an ultrasound and see the position of the baby. And then at that point, we're gonna come up with kind of a new plan. So that's tomorrow I'm going in. And the wonderful thing about all of this is my midwife is just so great. And the doctor that she's working with has like the best bedside manner ever. And she's really knowledgeable and she's patient and she's not like crazy medically minded, which I don't have a problem with that if like, especially when you're really needing it. But she's also like very down to earth and practical about it. And she's the one that would do the version. And I just feel like she just really knows what she's doing and she's great to work with. So I made sure to encourage her on the way out of how much I appreciated how she was. So right now that's kind of where we are. I honestly feel like deep inside, I know it sounds kind of like fluffy, but I kind of feel like she's just gonna flip around again. And I kind of feel like maybe she flipped and then I started having all these really weird contractions with my body trying to get her to turn. And then I don't know. So I'm gonna go see my chiropractor again tomorrow morning and then I'm gonna go to the appointment to get the ultrasound and everything. The good thing is that our main concern with getting her flipped head down soon, like really fast, was if my water broke. But since all the contractions stopped, and by the way, when I went in, like on Monday, she was head down. I was 1.5 centimeters, 0% effaced. I hadn't thinned out at all, but it was really soft. When I went in yesterday, she had flipped, but everything was the same. All the contractions I had had all day and that night before, it hadn't done a thing to my cervix. So that was a positive thing, no change there. So all of the choices that we've been making along, like, I mean, I haven't been making that many, but the ones that we have made have been really carefully like considered, like how do we do this and stuff. And then, so tomorrow I'll go to the doctor and we'll do another check. So the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I just feel like I have felt so alone in my birthing experiences. I have felt very alone with the fact that my babies don't turn until like the last week. I have felt very alone in the fact that I have very long labors. Like my 5th child was 17 hours. Like I have long labors, and everyone that I talk to, most of the people I know, not all of them, most of them that have a lot of children, they just get shorter and faster. And I just have felt always kind of alone in my birthing and labor experiences, which is fine. It's not a big deal, but sometimes it can be challenging. And I just wanted to be just someone on here on YouTube that maybe some person could relate to, and not feeling so alone, and the stress of like, now what does this look like? I'm at the end of my pregnancy and my baby has flipped. You know, what are my options? What are my doctors telling me? Like, you know, I just wanted to share another, you know, story of stuff that can happen, and that it can just be really stressful, you know. But anyway, so I think that's why it's so nice to have a good team. I love my midwife. I didn't just fall, you know, it just didn't just happen. I really like looked for somebody. I asked, I found a doctor that was working with me with progesterone, and she suggested this person and all this kind of stuff. So I'm thankful for the team that I have, and I think that they're really great. And I really like our hospital, which is the first time I've ever been able to say that. So anyway, so that's basically it from the title of this video, saying, you know, false labor, breech. Yes, these things are happening right now. But we're being proactive, and we're trying to make sure to keep an eye on everything and making the best choices we can for baby and mama, and so on and so forth. So I hope this video was a blessing to someone. I hope you are all doing well. And yeah, so if you're new to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know if any of you guys have had this experience where maybe your baby has turned. Have you guys done a version and it's been a positive experience? I've heard different things. I was up in the middle of the night last night, couldn't go to sleep, watching videos on this, so I'm exhausted today. Hence, I'm trying to drink my coffee and stay hydrated. I have my little sacramental bracelet here with our angels and our Lord and Mary, just kind of reminding me to keep my mind on Him and the fact that He has given us this baby, and that whichever way she's gonna come into this world, I mean, she's already here, but come into this world, it's gonna be okay, no matter what way that is. And I'm just trying to find peace with that and make the best choices I can for her and for myself and for my family. So anyway, so I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. God bless.